Hi guys, Calvin here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. On this video, I want to talk to you about morning rituals. I see so many people that start their day in the wrong way and then wonder why their day don't work out the way they expected it to. And surely the morning that you have determines so much of your success for the rest of the day and sometimes even for the rest of the week. And we find ourselves in a position when we have a good morning ritual, we feel fantastic. We feel energized, uplifted, inspired, focused, on point, and allowing ourselves to achieve that inspiration and productivity that we're really looking for. We find ourselves being reactive in the day, then it's very easy to just skyrocket and sort of tumbleweed through the day and find yourself becoming reactive, negative, frustrated, tired, and then relying on supplements and stimulants to get us through the day. And it's just not a great quality of life, more than the fact that it's actually not productive, efficient, or effective use of our time. So I wanted to give you some distinctions that I've picked up, and I've had days and I've had weeks and months when I've had great morning rituals and days when I couldn't get into it even if I could buy a morning ritual. And it's one of those things that's very easy to maintain when you have rituals and routines and disciplines. It's like the more disciplined you are, the easier it is to be disciplined. The more routines you are, the easier it is to have routines. But if you're out of control, everything is out of control. If there's one thing you can hold on to, though, is some critical points here as part of your morning rituals, going to allow you set yourself up for the success in the day and allow you to navigate through the purpose of, achieving your goals and dreams. So a couple of things I've learned along the years that I want to share with you, and you can take the best of these, but there's 5 key principles that would make a great morning routine or ritual, and you want to write these down. Number 1 is what I've realized is that so many successful people start their days by making sure they take time to stop. So rather than getting up in the morning and getting straight into it, some of the most successful people, men and women I know in business and in personal development, people that want to just change lives, growing things, making a difference in the world, take time to meditate on the morning. Before the craziness of your monkey mind kicks in, they take time to stop and reflect. And literally every single morning since I've been here, I've been sitting on the ledge next to me overlooking the ocean. I'll see if I can just show you this. I'm not sure if this is going to pivot. But I've been taking time to look over the ocean and just take some time to stop and reflect and review and just to renew myself and to be able to take some time for me. And so I would share you to do the same thing. Before your day gets started, stop and get clear on what you want to accomplish with the day. There's the few vital moments in the morning that are sacred, that before your mind starts racing with the thoughts and questions and comments and stresses of the day, before you've eaten or drank or moved or talked to anybody else, have a few moments for yourself. This is not something that I've been very good at in the past. It's something that I've really had to work hard at. But, you know, they say that meditation, some people say meditation doesn't work for me. The reason why is because you're not working at meditation. It's like saying health and fitness doesn't work for me or going to the gym doesn't work for me. It does. You just have to go there long enough to get the results. And so having that daily practice. It doesn't have to be long, guys. It doesn't have to be 2-3 hours. Start with 3 minutes, then 5 minutes, then 10, then 20 minutes. At the moment, I'm meditating about 20 minutes every morning. And you can do a guided meditation. You can do an audio meditation via YouTube. You can sit and do a transcendental meditation. It's up to you. 82% of the people studied by Tim Ferriss in his book Tools of Titans, they all meditated. And the ones that didn't, the 18% that didn't, had some form of ritual around meditation where they would run or walk or swim or bike ride. That was their version of the equivalent. High achievement is as much about getting clear on what you want to do as much as it is having a lot of great ideas. So we want to make sure we have quality of thought rather than quantity of thought. And on average, we would think an entire book. I mean, it's like 40,000 words a day we think about. So having time in your day to stop before you start to write that book determines so much of our success. So number 1 is they take time to stop. Number 2 is every high achiever I have ever met, everyone that sustains success moves their body on a daily basis. Now that might not be getting into the gym and lifting weights and really pushing themselves. It might be simply, you know, going out there and doing yoga classes or a spin class or getting out there for a morning walk every day. You know, Nelson Mandela used to box before he used to do that, but after that he then would go for a run or a walk every single morning. John Howard, Prime Minister of Australia, used to go for a walk every single morning. You know, Tony Abbott, although I didn't agree with his policies, he used to be a triathlon athlete. You know, the men and women that are incredibly successful. Oprah has yo-yoed with her weight so much, and she realized that she now needs to train every single day, at least 45 minutes a day, with her personal trainer to make sure her weight is consistent for her. So important. And I know for myself, when I'm training, I feel fantastic. I'm focused, I'm sharp, I'm dominant. But when I'm not, I get reactive, I get tired, lethargic, I start to eat the wrong foods, and everything blows out, and I start getting hard on myself, and I just get into a negative place. So my deepest encouragement to you is to make sure you take time to exercise and train. I don't do this as part of my morning ritual, as in I don't train first thing in the morning, although some days I'll get up and I'll do like a boxing class. I like to train in the afternoon, but providing you do it sometime during the day, either at the beginning or the end or somewhere in the middle, exercising is something that you can do any time in the day, but has an impact for the rest of the week. A good exercise and workout make you feel really good for a good couple of weeks. So that's really important that you want to make sure you do that. Number one is to meditate. Number two is to move. Number three is to read. When I studied the top 50 CEOs on the planet, this is the Fortune 50, so these are the 50 biggest companies in the world. The top 50 CEOs on the planet have one thing in common. Not where they went to school, not how much money they made, not the pressures of the job, although they probably have a lot of those things in common as well, but they had one thing that was universal, and that was that they read on average 24 books a year, one every 2 weeks, roughly speaking. And so if the top 50 men and women on the planet from a business leadership standpoint are doing it, I figure it's pretty important for us to look at doing it as well. And it's something that I try to do as well. So if in the morning, if you can get up and you can read, some people like doing this on an evening. So these are really rituals in your day more than morning rituals, but some people like to read on an evening. I like to do both. I like to read on a morning, get my day started, I do some meditation, then I'll digest some good thoughts for the day. And that might be an audio book, or it might be a podcast, or it might be a YouTube video. It doesn't have to be a physical written book, but something that's going to be helping you educate. So pillar number three is really that they learn and they try to grow their mind in some way, shape, or form. Pillar number four, that morning ritual is going to allow you really set yourself up for success, is a process of gratitude. And this can be a gratitude journal that you write in. This can be a gratitude piece where you actually call up a member of your friends or family or a loved one and give them some love and some light and appreciation. This can be a process where you give yourself some gratitude, or you take moments in your day, at the beginning of your day, to focus on all the things that you have in your life that you're really grateful for. That's a really significant part of the journey and the process of just making sure you're regularly calibrating. You know, you're watching this video, you're a high achiever by nature. And so if you're a high achiever by nature, we tend to spend more of our time focused on what we are achieving rather than what we have achieved. One of the things that I did a couple of years ago, in fact I'm about to do it again, is I went through all of my posts on Facebook. And I found all of the best photos I had on Facebook from all the different locations I traveled to. And you know, in the last couple of years, I've traveled to over 50 countries in the last 3.5 years. And now many of them have gone back to multiple times. And in that journey, I've seen so many beautiful things that you just forget. You know, the mind is much better at looking forward rather than it is at looking back and appreciating. It's a trained skill. So having a gratitude process. Tim Ferriss talks about the idea of the jar of awesomeness, which is when something happens that's awesome, you write on a little scroll, fold it up and chuck it in the jar, and then when you're feeling a little bit down, you empty it out and look at all the amazing things you have in your life. That could work really well for you as well. Just doing a morning pages and writing down a couple of things you're grateful for is so powerful as well. Just set your mind and your focus. And I want you to write this down. Gratitude is the antidote to fear. You can't be afraid and be grateful at the same time. So when you have gratitude in your life, it's going to allow you to release that fear and tackle the big challenges of the day. And then number 5 is I would really get clear on what are your priorities of the day. There's no point doing effectively that which should not be done at all. And Stephen Covey from the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People talks about starting with the end in mind. And he has what's called the Covey quadrants, and you may have seen this before. You've got quadrant 1, which is urgent and important. Quadrant 2, which is not urgent but still really important. Quadrant number 3, which is urgent and not important. And then quadrant number 4, which is not urgent and not important. What this basically means, guys, is that if we're in a position where we're constantly being distracted by what's urgent, then we're going to find ourselves in quadrant 1, quadrant 3 all the time, which is what's urgent and important, but also what's not urgent, but still, what's urgent but not important. So distractions, fires, constant challenges, people's pressures. And I always will say this: if you don't put your priorities in your schedule, somebody else is going to put their priorities in your schedule. You've got to find a way to help you delineate between these things and to be able to understand that at the end of the day, your week, your month, your year is determined by how much you can accomplish. Not how much you accomplished for others, but how much you can accomplish. And they might be indeed synergistic, but we want to get clear on what are the big things for you that you want to take out of your day. And I like to focus on 3 big objectives for the day. So start your morning. The first thing you want to do is stop by getting clear and meditating. Number 2, take time to move. Number 3, take time to read and grow. Number 4, take time for gratitude. And number 5, set your daily priorities. Couple of little things you can check on top of that as well as part of a good morning routine is make sure you start your morning with some water as well. We're so dehydrated on a nighttime, it's going to get your body flowing as well. And if you can, you'll notice I have the pool behind me here, guys. I've been getting up every morning here in the villa, coming down, jumping in the pool, swimming. As soon as you're in water and the whole body's saturated, and that makes a big difference. Now, if you don't have a pool, you can do the ocean. If you don't have the ocean or a pool, then the shower will do. And what I like to do is to sort of fire my body up into state is I'll start the shower and I'll have a nice warm shower to get started, and then I'll do hot cold intervals. So 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So 10 seconds really cold, just stand there and breathe. Get the cold water on you, then go into the warm water for a couple of seconds I'll probably do 15 seconds of the warm water, then back to the cold, and I'll do that 3 or 4 times just to wake my body up and prime my body so I'm ready to go. And if I do that, I don't need the coffees or the stimulants or the Red Bulls or any of that stuff. What I need instead is just mental sharpness and clarity and focus. And then another little hack is make sure your phone's on airplane mode. So I'll do that whole morning process, guys, without actually having to use my phone. If I've got it on airplane mode, no one can call me or speak to me or distract me. So please, I want you to understand, 80% of smartphone users, the first thing they do in the morning is they actually jump on the phone and they check social media. When you've got your phone on airplane mode, your alarm can still go off to wake you up. Right? If you want to get the 5 a.m. club, awesome. Yeah, 4:30 a.m. club, 6 a.m. club, I don't really care. It's, when you wake up is important, and getting early makes you start the day early, but I'm not going to say you have to get up at a certain time. But getting on the morning, waking up with that alarm, then getting up, doing your rituals and stuff like that, that process shouldn't take you more than an hour, guys. So if you get up at 6, you're ready to go at 7, the world doesn't need to speak to you in that hour of the day. I assure you, unless you're running the country, the world can go on without you between the hours of 6 and 7 a.m. But that 6 and 7 a.m. has a disproportionate impact on the quality of your day. Now, I know you may be watching this and you've got a family or you've got young children. I understand that as well. If the kids get up at 6, you get up at 5. I understand it might be hard for you to do that, or incorporate this morning ritual into their lives as well. When they get up on a morning, they have quiet time, they spend some time in the morning reading, you'll do some workout, you do a workout together. You might think that's a little bit crazy, but that's the difference. If you want to be an anomaly, you got to act like one. Why is it that you have to be reactive in the morning when you have kids? Why can't you design your morning rituals around developing the disciplines and routines and habits that are going to set them up for success long term? This makes all the difference, guys. So I just wanted to come to you and give you some of those hacks. Try to stay away from stimulants. And when you have breakfast on a morning, guys, a little hint and tip. I'm not going to get into the whole nutrition piece here, but if you can have a breakfast in the morning that's going to really set yourself up for success in the day, I try to stay away from carbohydrates and as many sugars as I can on a morning, right? So I love fresh fruits and vegetables, don't get me wrong, but I'll go for the veggies over the fruits. Ideally, if you can have some eggs and maybe some avocado, get some good fats in your system, it's going to set you up. Try to stay away from breads, anything that's going to slow you down on a morning. You've got more energy on a morning than normal, so you want to utilize that. Give yourself great nutrition, a green smoothie with plenty of good fruits and plenty of good vegetables in there. Try to stay away from the fruit, that sort of stuff, because you're going to find that energy spikes and drops down again, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just not great for peak performance and vitality. So I hope you got some great distinctions on this video, guys. Please give me a like, a comment, a love, and a share below. Tell me something that you got out of it as well. And I just want to know, what are you guys doing as part of your morning routines and rituals? And one final thing I'll share before I let you go is the way you go to bed has a lot to do with the way you wake up on a morning. So I would eliminate, at least 30 minutes before bed, I'd eliminate all distractions and all social as well as all technology. So try to read before you go to sleep, do a journal or a reflection. Imagine if you're working, it's like shutting down the computer, but you're literally just closing it. Imagine instead of shutting down the computer where you're preserving that battery, you're closing the lid. When you close the lid, the battery's still working, it's just in standby mode. And you want to make sure that you fully shut down all the systems and then fully reboot on the morning. It's really important that your brain does that for mental health as well as physical health. Good luck and God bless, guys. Remember to kick some big goals this year. Remember to live strong and live with passion. To make today and every day a phenomenal life-changing adventure. And above all else, remember to live life on your terms. Good luck.